You're going to learn some tips to speak clearly and confidently. Specifically, you'll learn how to speak with more conviction. This is part 5 in a 5-part series on how to speak clearly and confidently. This is the last video, and it's 100% compatible with every other lesson and tip in this series. If you've been watching the series and still haven't subscribed yet, then you can do that right now. And if you're finding these lessons helpful, then feel free to check out my Communication Coach Academy. We have loads of free resources there, group coaching options, and a variety of classes in communication, public speaking, and leadership. Today's video is all about speaking with conviction. And the bottom line is, if you have something to say it like you mean it. Tip number 1 to speak with more conviction is to increase your volume. I would say that more than half of the clients I work with do not speak loudly enough in group situations or during presentations. The trouble is, people who speak softly generally do not sound confident in what they're saying. If you speak at a below average volume, it's going to create a below average impression. In contrast, if you can increase your volume by just 10 or 20%, everything you say will sound more enthusiastic and committed. If you're in a one-on-one conversation, of course, you have to keep the level of volume conversational. But in front of a group of almost any size, increase your volume by about 10 or 20%. For public speaking, the tip is to let your voice fill the room. The larger the room and the more people that are there, the more volume you use. When you speak a little louder, it'll make everything you say like you're speaking with conviction. When I work with clients, we'll often do this in workshops with somebody who is speaking too softly for the room. They volunteer and we put them up there in front of everybody. We're really supportive and we gradually get them to speak louder. And you can try this with me right now. And I'm going to use a sample sentence about pickleball from a previous lesson in this series. We'll gradually increase the volume. And it's just about pickleball, but you'll see how this makes a difference. Repeat the sentence after me in your normal speaking volume. Pickleball is now one of the most popular sports around. Now let's say that again, and this time let's speak 10% louder and let your voice start to fill whatever room you're in. Pickleball is now one of the most popular sports around. Now let's increase the volume one more time to 20% higher than your normal volume and say it again with me. Pickleball is now one of the most popular sports around. Now I'm not there with you, but I'm willing to speculate that when you speak a little louder, you'll sound more confident and convinced about what you just said. You may also notice as you practice speaking louder that you're benefiting from a few other positive side effects. I've noticed that when most of my clients increase their volume, they also increase their vocal variety in the sound of their voice, so they no longer sound monotone. That's because increasing your volume naturally improves your tone and inflection. My clients also usually start to become more animated in terms of their gestures and their body language and their facial expressions. I can't obviously see you right now, but let me ask, did you notice that your facial expressions became more animated when you increased your volume? Did you gesture with your hands without realizing it? All of that will make you come across as more confident in what you're saying. So all you have to do is increase your volume by about 10% or 20%, and you'll look and sound like you're speaking with more conviction. Tip number 2 to speak with more conviction is to emphasize the most important words in each sentence. In fact, I just did that in my previous sentence, so I'll do it again and you tell me which words I emphasized. To speak with more conviction, emphasize the most important words in each sentence. Did you hear it? And you can do the same. All I did was slow down and lean into what I considered to be the most important words. And you should do that in every single sentence. Just pick whatever 2 or 3 words in a row matter the most in each sentence. Slow down and add emphasis to them. There are lots of reasons to emphasize key words. The first is that when people speak too rapidly and rush through every thought in every sentence, it doesn't sound confident. It sounds like they're just trying to get through a message, and their main goal is to get it over with. Now, rushing through may help you accomplish the goal of finishing as fast as possible, but it's not going to make you sound like you believe what you're saying. Another reason people rush is because of anxiety and nerves. But whatever reason you have for speaking too quickly, Emphasizing the most important words in each and every sentence will give you a much more confident sounding rhythm. It also helps your listeners because now they know that if it's important to you as the speaker, then you're signaling that it should be important to them. And here's another tip within a tip. When you get to the end of your talking turn, make sure you use the same type of emphasis on the last 3 words you say. And make sure your voice goes down at the end toward the period punctuation mark. It should sound like you are landing the plane on your talking turn. Let's use our pickleball example again and say it along with me. We'll pretend that this is the end of our talking turn. Emphasize the last 3 words as you read this and notice how certain you sound. Pickleball is now one of the most popular sports around. You really want to lean into those last 3 words. Make sure it sounds like you're making a statement and not asking a question. Third, let's talk about eye contact and how you can use this to come across as more confident, like you really believe what you just said. Before I give you this tip, let me explain how I learned this myself. I've been going to group meetings as a participant and coaching clients for decades now, and I've noticed a very subtle behavior that differentiates the most confident speakers from everybody else in the room. First and most obviously, confident speakers tend to make direct eye contact with people as they're speaking. That's probably not too surprising. And I would guess, like most people, you make at least some direct eye contact when you're speaking. But if you don't, make sure you practice eye contact while you're speaking and sharing your message. Now, second, here's the subtle difference I noticed about eye contact. When the most confident speakers finish their talking turns, they keep their eyes and their chin up, and they continue to make eye contact with the next person in the group who speaks. They don't stare or glare at the next person in a confrontational way. They simply maintain eye contact with whoever speaks next. In contrast, professionals who seem to lack confidence in what they said finish their talking turn, and then they drop their eyes and their chin toward the table, toward their notes, or toward a device. And when they break eye contact like that and look down after they speak, it creates the impression that they don't believe in or stand behind what they just said. To reiterate the tip, when you finish your talking turn in a group situation, keep your chin up, maintain eye contact with whoever speaks next, and it will cast a very positive light on what you just said, and it'll come across like you stand behind your message. If you watched all 5 videos in this series on how to speak clearly and confidently, please let me know in a comment. I would love to celebrate that with you with my own comment, and I will give you a heart. And don't forget to take a look at my website. There's free resources there that I mentioned, group coaching options and classes. Thank you for joining me in this journey. Until next time, thanks, God bless, and I will see you soon.